What's up, everybody? Right here. This is Headman, the Raptor Master Jonathan Peck, right here for the Sports Brawl Championship match here at TNG Entertainment, and also part of the video of Scratch and Claw 2 on this video right here, name number 1. And basically, I can't wait for this championship matchup with these two friendly competitors on the top of my screen along with it. Let's get into our competitors themselves. Let's introduce the winner of the Sports Brawl Rookies Tournament bracket, Mr. Ruber himself, Amaru Moses. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I heard when I got one of the questions that you put for us, there's no way in the world I was not coming prepared with the best soccer jersey, football jersey in the world. So I'm ready to go. I am surprisingly not as nervous as I thought I would be. I'm just ready to have a good clean match with our 1,567th favorite Papa in the world. So let's do it.
All right. Well, speaking of that, let's go into our competitor for this championship match. We got someone last time you see him in Sports Brawl, he came very short for winning the championship match. The last time around, we got whoever ranked favorite guy you might rank him as, Mr. Jacob West, Papa West himself. How you doing, man?
So as far as right now goes, I am the 132nd favorite dad in the family community. Get your numbers right, Amaru. If that's how we're starting this is going to be a bad time. But yes, Jonathan, it has been a while since y'all have seen me last in Sports Brawl, and I have been in a corner contemplating on what I should have done to change that match to make the false god actually die instead of just bleed. And trust me, I will not be making those mistakes today.
All right. We'll see about that. And let's go into our judges at the bottom of our screen. We got first judge at the bottom right here. We got Kevin Potts himself. How you doing, man?
Doing all right, and glad to be here. Congratulations to Amaru for winning the rookie tournament, and Papa West. I know that you're eager for this championship yourself, so let's see what you got.
All right, let's go into our second judge, and also the bottom of our screen on this. That's corner. One of my fingers all messed up. Let's go into Kevin Marino. Kevin Marino, how you doing, man?
I am doing quite well, and I'm quite excited to judge this championship match.
Enough. All right. Fair enough. And let's go into our third judge for this evening. You might recognize him. It was part of our rookies tournament along with it, and also just got beaten by Amar to get to this championship match. We got Mr. Asher Gold. How you doing, Asher?
Oh, way to rub it in, John. Jeez. God. I'm doing fine, man. Honestly, I begged and pleaded to be one of the judges for this match because as a competitor against Rue, you know how great he is as a competitor, and you know all the facts he's going to bring out, and you know all the passion he brings. And I've seen Papa West compete, and he's a great competitor too. So I think it's a clash of the Titans. I can't wait to see the passion they bring, the facts they bring, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to watch. I'm ready. I'm not no bias in this at all. Rue won fair and square, so there's no grudge being held at all. I'm just ready for a great match, and 5 questions. Yeah, I'm ready to go toe-to-toe and see what these guys do.
All right. Well, you kind of spoiled what I'm about to say during this championship
sorry.
match. Well, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out there. Like what after I was trying to say was the rules is this. It's sort of regular, right? Sort of Sports Brawl debate one here, but this one's very different. Since it's a championship match, there are going to be no speed rounds for this match. There's only going to be 5 questions along with it. So basically, the rules is basically this. Same thing with any other debate right here. It's basically like 9 seconds on your opening, 5 minutes during debate, and 60 seconds on your closing along with it. And which one with our competitors? Both of you have 1-minute extensions if one of you willing to use it. Only works on when you're opening and your closing arguments only along with it. So basically, for the championship match, might use it very wisely if you really desperately need it. So basically, now I can't wait for this match already. So, to our competitors, Amaru, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Jacob, are you ready?
I am ready as well.
All right. Our fellow judges, are you ready? Thumbs up for Kevin. Thumbs up for Asher. Thumbs up for Cameron Moran right here. All right. Let's do this. Go into Sports Brawl and the crew Daryl Warchard. Biggity. Let's go racing, boys, for this Sports Brawl Championship match at Scratch and Claw 2. And now, let's go into question number 1 with Amaru Strength with the NFL. The last time I tackled the NFL on the championship match right here, I briefly talked about the Super Bowl a couple months back, and this question is above the Super Bowl, even though this is sort of the not so kind of the Super Bowl one. Over the years, that we had some great Super Bowl matchups and mid finishes, and also we've been some pretty terrible ones along with it. So, and I posed to our players this question with this: what is the worst Super Bowl of all time? So, since this is Amaru's strength, we'll go with him first for his choice.
When you watch a Super Bowl, you want something to happen. Some type of offense, some type of takeaway, some type of drama, something. And when we got to Super Bowl 53, we came in looking for something with the team, the New England Patriots, that everybody outside of New England wanted to see lose, going up against a high-flying upstart offense with a genius head coach in the Rams. And this is what we ended up getting. 0-0 in the end of the first quarter. 3-3 at the end of the half. A halftime with Adam Levine shirtless. Not that great. 3-3 at the end of the third. 1 2-yard touchdown and a field goal, which ended up in 852 total punting yards. Almost 200 more yards in each team's total combined. The most boring, horrible Super Bowl ever. The lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, with the team who won winning the second time in 3 years, the definition of no drama at all, capped by end-of-game speeches saying, hey, still a pretty good feeling to winning the Super Bowl. Hey, Tom Brady saying, I wish we played a little better on offense, but we won. Super Bowl champs. Yay. Okay, that last A was from me, but that's what happens when your Super Bowl MVP might as well end up being your punter. The worst Super Bowl of all time. Super Bowl 53. And I'll concede the rest of my time.
All right. We got Super Bowl 53, Patriots versus Rams. The one I put with a couple of friends, so let's slip at one point, but I got to put that out there. And also, a little smelling SpongeBob on that part. So, all right. So, also we'll put it. Let's go to Papa West for his selection.
We have seen a lot of great Super Bowls. We've seen a lot of one-sided Super Bowls, and there have been a couple where neither team did that well. But there's only one where it seemed like neither team wanted to win. Both teams, it looked like, did everything in their power to lose the game. Sloppy passes, passing behind the receiver, throwing it to the other team. Fumbles, literally like spinning around and just not holding on to the ball, muffing punts. Just a couple things that happened in the Blunder Bowl, also known as the Blooper Bowl or the Stupor Bowl, but more commonly referred to as Super Bowl V, when the Baltimore Colts barely beat the Dallas Cowboys 16-10. Time.
All right. We got Super Bowl 53 versus Super Bowl 5. And very interesting matchups. And for those of our viewers who are a little confused on the Baltimore Colts, yeah, before they called the Indianapolis Colts, they were called the Baltimore Colts along with it. So, a little history lesson right there. All right, let's go into the 5-minute debate. When you begins, we begin talking.
So what do we usually look for at the end of our comedies or in extra scenes or extra things when we buy DVDs and Blu-rays? We look for the bloopers. We look for the blunders, because at least we can laugh at them and find some enjoyment. And when watching your Super Bowl V, at least at the beginning of the game, for one, they got the first couple of turnovers. It had to have been thrilling. And then at least at the end of the game, they actually decided to score off of turnovers to end up with a game-winning field goal. Some type of drama, some type of entertainment. Super Bowl 53 had none whatsoever from beginning to end. There was no type of entertainment, from laughter, from drama, to debate, from thrill, from nothing. Your game at least had some thrilling things within it.
Yes, watching the bloopers is fun today. Whenever that was actually happening, though, people were pissed off, especially it being the 5th Super Bowl. And you know what we got out of your Super Bowl? Fantastic defense. I mean, literally, you had two of the best defenses going up against some of the best offenses that we've seen, and they shut out. Both defenses did a fantastic job. Tom Brady literally was not sacked the entire postseason until the Super Bowl. No one could get to him until then. The same thing, Jared Goff was phenomenal the entire postseason until he got to the playoff, until he got to the Super Bowl. Again, you talk about a boring game. Defense is not necessarily boring. I mean, just watching the frustration going on both those offenses of there was nothing they could do. When the Patriots were barely being able to get slants and goes out to Edelman, who was able to take it, but then got stopped. And literally the next 3 plays got stopped. There was a lot of drama. It's just not – it wasn't a sexy Super Bowl, but it was a very dramatic Super Bowl.
AKA not sexy, meaning boring, meaning when we watch any football game, Super Bowl or not, what do we call the games that really aren't high flying, but are kind of known by a certain time we know who's going to win? We call them a defensive struggle. That's what you try to come up with to give some credit to a game. That is not what we want in a Super Bowl. And if we want a defensive struggle in a Super Bowl, we want a defensive struggle with a good amount of turnovers that cause drama, not 852 punting yards, not punt struggle, not 3-and-out struggle. How about interception struggle? Yes, there was one at the beginning of your game and one at the end of your game. But throughout it, from the rest of the time, you're just like, what's going to happen now? Okay, this is literally 3-3 in the 4th quarter after – and halftime is part of the Super Bowl. After – you didn't even get a halftime to get us excited. There was nothing to do in my game at all.
Again, your game was actually pretty fascinating. Watching the team struggle, defensive struggle. Yes, sometimes we say, hey, that's not fun. But at the same time, if you are a football fan, if you study the game, yes, defense is fun to watch. And the fact that you said, yours had nothing. I mean, there were a ton of good plays in your game. They just came very few and far between, unfortunately. Whereas with my game, you ready for this? This is the first time in Super Bowl history that the MVP was on defense. And yes, that's happened a couple of times. He was a linebacker. That's happened a couple of times too, so nothing new there. Except the only thing is, my MVP, Chuck Howley, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, lost. That has never happened before. And literally the only reason he won is because he was in the right place at the right time on 2 plays. At least watching Julian Edelman destroy the secondary for the most part was really fun to watch.
I actually would take it, finding the Super Bowl MVP being on the defensive side. I would take your words and call that fascinating. I would take your words and call that, man, that must have been a struggle. That is something you can latch onto for your game. There was you said a bunch of nice plays, few and far between. I don't remember seeing any stat saying any play more than 29 yards from Gronk's touchdown, at least in Super Bowl V. You had the 75-yard touchdown throw by Johnny Unitas
which was a very controversial play to begin with. And when
drama helps out.
Not always. It was a play that should not have happened.
Time. All right. this is a very interesting argument indeed, and this is a very intriguing along with it. So since Amaru got first with his opening, we'll go ahead and pop a list for his closing though. 60 seconds will begin where you begin talking.
So yes, if a defender wins MVP, if they had a phenomenal performance like Von Miller did in season words, Jacob, Super Bowl 50, yes, that is exciting to watch. With Chuck Howley, literally he had 2 plays in the entire game that he wasn't even performing at the top of his level for. The first one, he got beat by a receiver, but thankfully Johnny Unitas didn't throw it far enough, and Chuck was right there to catch it. The other literally got beat again by a receiver, but this time it was the other Earl Morrill, who didn't throw it at the receiver, threw it the wrong way. The receiver made a cut. Earl thought he was going the other way, threw it right to Chuck. And again, yes, I had 1 play that was 75 yards. 1 play in the entire game, which, fun fact, that time you could not tap the ball and your teammate catch it. That's exactly what happened. The refs blew that call. Should not have happened.
Fine. All right. Interesting. Papa West right here. Let's go over to Amaru right here for his closing. 6 seconds will begin where you begin talking.
Words to describe Super Bowl 53. Fascinating, hence my sarcasm using it for the other side. Defensive struggle. Words to use for your game. Controversial. Right place, right time. Blunders. Bloopers. Tap ball. Blue call. All things I want to go watch right now and laugh and have an entertaining time. You don't want to go watch my game. My game has nothing to it. I said it once. I'll say it again. More punting yards than both teams had fully. I would love to see a 75-yard touchdown tap forward and a ref blowing the call over what the Rams and the Patriots basically said. I guess we'll take this Super Bowl any day. Funny and entertaining beats boring and nothing to it. I'll concede my time.
All right. Is he going to concede his time? All right. Okay, for our judges in the bottom, write down the name of the person that you want to give the points to. Put thumbs up if you're ready. All right, got a thumbs up for Kevin. Thumbs up for Asher. Got Kevin Moran right here. First of all, there. Okay, got a thumbs up for Kevin Marino. All right, basically very good arguments. And let's go to our fall judges at the bottom, so to make my job very more easier. Let's go with Kevin Paz. What do you think of this argument, and who should get the point in your eyes?
Both very good arguments, and both brought different some different points to this, and good rebuttals. But Jacob, I wish you would have had more time to go in on that Unitas to Morrill play and the play that went 75 yards that shouldn't have happened. I feel like you kind of just brushed over that, and those could have been big for you. In saying that, Amaru even bringing up the halftime show, talking about how bloopers are enjoyable. That is true. He just had, the more punting yards than both teams combined. I have to give my point to Amaru.
All right. We got one. Oh, Amaru. Let's go to Kevin Marino on the bottom. You guys just want to go to Kevin Marino on this one right here for his point, and who do you think gets the argument in your eyes?
I have to agree with my multi-dimensional twin / clone. Everything to this point. Plus, also I got more in detail with that with the Super Bowl, especially the halftime show. Though I did also labeled Papa West's comment of not sexy but dramatic as well as a plus. It didn't make me laugh. Okay, so my point goes to Amaru.
All right. With that, Amaru takes the first point for round number 1. Asher, your point wouldn't have mattered. Which point would you have gone to?
Yeah, this was going to be a clean sweep for me. I mean, just the things that Rue brought up, like the fact that Maroon 5 performed at the halftime show, kind of added to it. I think, honestly, Papa West, one thing that would have gotten you a little bit more attention is if you brought up specific plays during Rue's Super Bowl. You said there were a lot of good plays, but I didn't hear you say a specific play. And also the fact that you said it was 16-10 at the start. This is I still would have given it to Rue, but it was 16-13. And also Rue brought up that there was a game-winning field goal at the end of regulation. So that's pretty exciting to me. So my point was going to go to Rue also.
All right. Rue takes the lead 1-0 right here. Even though I would have been judged, I would have done the same thing. So let's go into round number 2. Round number 2, which is Papa, what's the strength of soccer? And this is a very interesting one along with it. So I brought this question out to our players, is this. What is the most memorable moment in FIFA World Cup history? So this is Papa West's strength. We'll go with him first for his selection.
Let's take a trip back in time to 1970 in the wonderful country of Mexico. You have Brazil taking on Italy in the World Cup finals. Brazil currently up 3-1. Italy knows they are still in it, fighting tooth and nail to get at least one more goal to at least cover that dent a little bit. When a butchered play leads to 10 passes involving 8 players on the Brazilian side. Tosoa stealing the ball, passing to Brito to Clodoaldo to Pele to Gerson running down the line, beating 3 defenders, passing it back to Clodoaldo, who passes it to Rivellino, who centers it to Pele, the best player to ever set foot on the pitch. And Pele, at the penalty box, could have very well played with the defender, but instead knew that, hey, even though I'm the best player on this team, on this field, doesn't mean I have to be the last one to touch this ball. Every Italian thought he was keeping it, and he passes it off to the side to Alberto, who punches it in to the bottom corner of the goal, scoring their 4th goal in the 86th minute to clinch the World Cup in 1970. The goal I am talking about is the exclamation point. Time.
All right. Very interesting moment right here that Papa West put out there. I'm going with Amaru for his selection.
After getting asked this question, this all happened in my head in 1 second. I immediately thought of the most controversial moment, the most controversial football player figure ever in history. And then I said, nah, fam, in my head just as quickly as the I'm the best Maradona told controversial Maradona, hold my beer. Because in a mere 4 minutes after the hand of God, he got the ball in his own half. And in 10 seconds, went 60 yards, past 5 defenders, 2 of them twice, then made the goalie look hapless by going around him, slipping in what is one of the most brilliant individual displays of football brilliance in the biggest stage in the world. The goal of the century by Maradona is the greatest moment in FIFA World Cup history because even John Barnes, the opposing English midfielder, said it was so beautiful. He had to stop himself from getting up in the middle of the game and giving Maradona a standing ovation. That moment is made even better by Victor Morales, our Argentine commentator, crying with joy at the end of the run. If your memorable moment makes arguably the most memorable moment in FIFA World Cup history, a thought of the past, in 4 minutes, you are doubly memorable. Nothing else comes close. The goal of the century by Diego Maradona, Viva Argentina, is the best goal, is the greatest moment of FIFA World Cup history.
Time. All right. The goal of the century by Amaru. This is two interesting moments by research discretion and very memorable indeed. So let's start with this 5-minute debate with Wendy. You begins talking.
Amaru, quick fact check for you. Yes, the Hand of God goal did happen 4 minutes earlier, but the goal of the century did not erase the Hand of God. If you ask anybody, who is Diego Maradona? If they are a soccer fan, immediately they're like, that's the guy with the Hand of God goal, right? Yeah, that's right. If anyone outside of Argentinian fans think of Diego Maradona, they think of the Hand of God goal. That is the most memorable play of his entire career, not the goal of the century. You picked the wrong moment in your game. I'm sorry, Amaru.
Okay, a couple things. One, that's not a fact check. That's an opinion check. And usually I hate bringing up lists in terms of these arguments, but since you want to bring up opinion, I'll bring up opinion as well. And every single list of opinions of people who know about FIFA World Cup history had the goal of the century as number one ahead of yours and ahead of the Hand of God every single time. Now, going back
to Name three. If you're going to make that comment, name three, please.
I'm not going to name that comment.
Every list that I looked up had Hand of God as number one and the exclamation point as number two.
Bleacher Report has that. And then you also have the YouTube video of the 100 most memorable moments in FIFA World Cup history, the first one that's going to come up. And I'm pretty sure that's Fox Sports. And I'm pretty sure the goal of the century is number one, while yours is number two. Now I'm going to go back to something else you said. You said Italy knew they were going to be in it at that time when they were down 3-1. I looked up your video. I looked it up on YouTube because I had to make sure. And you know what the first words at the commentators' mouths were? The first words out of their mouth was, Italy looks really, really tired right now. They look beat. So I don't think that goal that the most dominant team in the history of the World Cup had against a team that was beat down, according to, again, the first words of the commentator going into your video, is that memorable. When I looked at it and I had to rewind the video twice, like, okay, what are we looking at? Because this looks like every single Brazil team I've ever really seen. And the most memorable thing I remember is that it's Pele and he passed it off, which is cool. It's beautiful. It's an absolutely great play. But it's with a team that I was like, wait a second. Okay, I don't remember any of the names. You just said, and maybe I'll remember. Carlos scored the goal, right? Okay, cool. But I'm pretty sure I can see that in 10 years from another Brazil team and another 10 years from another Brazil team.
And why haven't we seen it in another Brazil team?
I swear to you, I looked at it and was like, okay, if it wasn't for the quality, I'm pretty sure I've seen something like this.
This was the best team to ever set foot on the pitch. And that moment proved it. And again, you talk about your list. Every list that I looked up had the Hand of God at number one. In fact, back in 2002, the United Kingdom polled thousands of British people, which you know what British people love? Football. They did two lists. Top 100 sporting moments. Hand of God goal was number 6 on that list. Number 36 was the exclamation point goal. Nowhere on that list was the goal of the century. And then they even did the best World Cup moments a couple years later. At number 8 was the Hand of God goal. Number 5 was what I just called the exclamation point goal. I'm sorry, I cannot think of words right now. Nowhere on that list was the goal of the century because your goal is overshadowed by the Hand of God goal. You're saying that 4 minutes later, Diego Maradona wiped that out completely? No, he did not. People are still remembering Diego Maradona, Hand of God goal. When they're comparing Messi to Diego Maradona, the one thing Maradona has over him is World Cup. But something that they always point out, hey, you know how Maradona had that Hand of God goal? Messi had one too. Not as blatant, but they still, when they are comparing the two Argentinian superstars, they are comparing the Hand of God goal to something that Messi did that was very similar. You know what they don't compare to Messi and Maradona? Goal of the century. Even though Messi has had some amazing goals that overshadow Maradona. You know why they don't? Because Maradona is not known for the goal of the century. he is known for the hand of God goal?
So I'm going to go away from these lists because nobody can go look them up. But what I'm going to do is give you the facts that, yes, Messi and Maradona aren't compared on the goal of the century because Messi hasn't had a goal of the century. It's called the goal of the century.
All right. Interesting list pointing or all that stuff. And let's go into our closings. Since we started with Jacob, let's go to Amaru for his closing. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
Papa West has his list. I have mine. You got Messi versus Maradona, where it's the goal of the saying that there's no comparison. They only compare the hand of God. It's because Messi hasn't had a goal of the century. But when you look at the two and you look at what is most memorable, you remember Maradona showing the most brilliant display of skill ever to be seen in FIFA World Cup history. Him and him alone. There is no replacement. There is nobody else. Pele is a better football player, and he does not have a better play than Maradona did. Nothing more memorable, singularly for him. Brazil did it up 3-1 against an Italian team who was already looking tired, beat, and done. And any other team you see in Brazil, you're like, wait a second. I'm pretty sure I saw them do that before. Didn't I see the other teams do that? I'm pretty sure I can do that. You don't see something replacing the goal of the century. It's called the goal of the century for a reason.
Time. All right. Let's turn to Papa West for his closing. And the 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
I do want to ask you a quick question, even though you cannot answer because this is my time. If it's called goal of the century, why didn't they call it right after the match? They called it in 2002 as it was finally labeled the goal of the century. So right afterwards, no one was excited about that goal. Again, because everyone was like, it was a handball. He was in the box, touched the ball with his hand, the hand of God goal. When you think of Maradona, you think of the hand of God goal. You do not think of the goal of the century. And again, one player. Soccer is a team sport. There are 11 players on each team. No moment ever showed how much better a team was than the other team than Brazil's exclamation point goal. Yes, Italy was tired. It was the 86th minute of the game. But you know what? They were still trying. They were still going. And in one counterattack, Brazil wiped out all hopes of Argentina coming back. Better team moment, better moments.
All right. Write down when you want. Okay, judges, write down the person who gets this one. Thumbs up. You ready? All right. So I got judges right here. Got our points out. Let's go into our second Kevin Morano right here for his thoughts on the arguments and who gets the point in your eyes.
All right. This one might have been a little bit easy for me. But my point goes to Papa West. The counter arguments, especially for how the hand of God is more recognized, it's more well known than the goal of the century. Kind of gives me the point, gives him the point for me. So my point goes to Papa West. Wait.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. I see it right there. All right. We got 101. Jacob. Let's go to Asher for his thoughts on the arguments and who gets the point.
So yeah, this was tough for me because I am a novice when it comes to soccer. So I ended up watching both videos. I ended up seeing what stories you guys were telling, and Rue told a really good story about how, you know, this guy went coast to coast. Very controversial call that gave him a goal previously, and he kind of redeemed himself with this goal, showing his athleticism of, you know, traversing through 5 defenders in 10 seconds to score. At the same time, though, what Papa West was able to describe, and the counters Rue had were really good, how the Italy team was tired. And, you know, 3-1 with 4 minutes to go, or whatever extra time you have left, it's not that much to really win. And the problem is the polling kind of washed everything out. I did the research, and Bleacher Report had a poll with the exclamation point being number one. They also had a poll with the goal of the century being number one. So it's like, I mean, and USA Today had all of the polls are kind of moot, I think, at this point. So what won me over, though, was honestly the fact that I think soccer is a team game. And in Papa West's closing, he said that 10 different players, and I watched it. Yeah, it looks like 10 or 8 different players, 10 passes. It showed how important the team was. It showed that Pele, the best soccer player in the world that I actually know, decided to pass it and be a good teammate and let Alberto get the point, or get the goal. And also, as a novice, I know the hand-to-God goal. I know that goal. I didn't know the goal of the century coming into this, so I'm going to give it to Papa West.
Okay, with that, Jacob scores round 2.
Oh, sorry. There. Yeah, I crossed out Rue and put in West. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We got a tie game 1-1. Kevin Pass, your point wouldn't have mattered. Which point would have gone to?
Yeah, I'll keep it quick because I echo a lot of Asher's sentiments that I'm not that big of a soccer fan, but I have heard of the Hand of God goal. I actually thought that's what Rue was going into at first. I do like how you brought up the commentators, and how they even said that Italy looks defeated, all that kind of stuff. But that opening for Jacob painted the best picture for me for the exclamation point goal, which I'm unaware of, but I am aware of it now. And kind of like Asher said, 10 passes, 8 players, it would have gone to Jacob.
All right. Jacob gets the point anyway. And it's a tie.
Let's be honest real quick. If the Argentinian announcer announced every single soccer game, soccer would be 100 times better than it actually is. Just gonna say that.
Yes.
All right.
Imagine being in a Argentinian household during a World Cup match. It's lovely. It's hilarious.
Okay, good to know on that one. I'll keep that in mind. And let's go into round number 3. And this question is going to be different. This round number 3 question is not picked by our 2 competitors. It's picked by me. So this is a championship match, and I did something very different for this championship match. This round number 3 is a pick by me, and also along with it, since no one picks any other strength or category based on this question I picked, I'm going to do something very different. I'm going to do a coin flip that who's going to go first on round number 3. So, Papa West, you scored on the round 2. Call heads or tails on the coin flip.
Heads.
All right. All right, Amaru's going to do tails. Let's do the coin flip and do it. And it's tails.
Tails never fail.
Challenge, that is not a real coin.
Good challenge. So much respect.
All right. It's all right. It's okay. It is tails. So Amaru won the toss. So he's going to go first on this round number 3 is this. What is the worst botch call in sports history? So this is obviously, I put a hard one on there. So let's see our players to answer this question. We'll go with Amaru for his selection.
Do we still have an extension?
Yes. Both of you still have the 1-man extension.
I'm using it now.
Okay. Amaru's going to use. All right. Give it a second to Kevin get it set up.
All right. Got it set up. 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock.
All right. Okay. All right. Timer begins when you begin talking, Amaru, for your opening. What did you pick?
Most times when there's a botch call in a game or sport, it can slightly be softened by the fact that there's a whole game leading up to that botch call, and sometimes an opportunity after the botch call where you could say, well, we could have done this different, or I would have changed this. My teammate could have changed that. We shouldn't have put ourselves in that situation in the first place. The botch call still hurts, but it gives it an excuse. What there is absolutely no excuse for is a man working his entire life get to a world stage to hone his boxing skills to the tune of 86 punches landed to 32, including 2 standing 8 counts, and looking like Muhammad Ali, dodging hits to be told, nah, you got second place, you lost. When Roy Jones Jr. lost in the 88 Seoul Olympics and got his gold medal stolen from him to the Korean boxer Park Si-hun, after he beat the brakes off of that man, it is both statistically and by the eye test the biggest botch call in sports history. There is no, I could have done something different. There is no, my teammate did this or that. There is nothing but knowing the fact that you got cheated out of a gold medal because you are in the home country of your opponent, but you can't do anything because cheating is a judgment call. You can't prove a judgment call is cheating unless they confess. So it makes it even worse because they look you in your face and you know that they know that you know that they know they cheated you, yet you can't do anything. And then after that, even with all of that, one judge even said, hey, I knew Roy Jones won, but I gave it to Park to placate the South Koreans. All in all, before, during, after, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's the worst bot call in sports history. I'll concede the rest of my time.
All right. I've seen that and online, like, which are some of the answers, and yeah, that's very, it's a very ugly call. Let's see Papa West had worse than that for his selection.
So this is the correct answer for the worst botch call. We're to travel back in time again because I love going to the past. To 1972, going to the Olympics again, going to the basketball finals. The United States currently have a 63-game win streak. They have never lost international basketball. They are playing against the Soviet Union in the finals. And it's the upset of the century. The Soviet Union is winning. At one point, it was 49-48. The United States were in the process of making a comeback. The USSR, instead of just wasting time, which they should have, they actually tried to make a play. Doug Collins is right there, steals the ball, travels all the way down the end of the court to go up for a layup, gets fouled, and makes the most clutch 2 free throws in anyone's career to go up 50-49. And then what ensued is the biggest kerfuffle in sporting history you will ever see. Right when they inbound, Russia goes about half court, and there's just yelling everywhere. Come to find out, the Russian head coach, Vladimir Kondrasin, called a timeout. Except in Olympics, what you're supposed to do is you have a little button that you push, and once you push that, that's what calls a timeout. Instead of doing that, he runs on court trying to call a timeout. Right then and there should have been a technical foul. There wasn't one. That is the most botched play call ever.
All right. 2 very controversial calls indeed. So let's go into the argument, the 5-minute debate, where one of you begins talking.
All right. So when you have 2 of the worst calls ever, it's really hard to argue trash compared to trash compared to trash. So when I looked at it, I looked at how else can I see that this is worse? And there is nothing worse than you knowing you did everything you could up until this moment in the entire match. And even every mistake that you had in the match where you got hit, you came back with flurry after flurry to absolutely dominate in the place you want to dominate, or individual sports, for yourself, and somebody to take that from you, to then take it from you and then later say, yeah, we took it from you. It is so bad. It absolutely changed the landscape of Olympic scoring after that match. Two of those judges were banned for life, and Olympic scoring was completely changed. Nothing is worse is when you have something taken from you when you've done everything you could, almost absolutely perfect.
Actually, it's equally as worse when you are losing, but you are in the process of an amazing comeback, and that is taken away from you. Again, Doug Collins hit 2 clutch free throws to go up 50-49. Inbound pass. This crap happens. And so instead of calling game, they award the Soviet Union timeout. They go and inbound it again. They didn't reset time, so when the Russian threw the ball all the way down and missed, U.S. is celebrating. They finally did it, or they came back. They won again. Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't reset time. Have them play again. This time, Soviet Union throws it all the way down to a player down there who lays it up to win it. They were in the process of the comeback of the century, and it was taken away from them. And actually, the worst thing ever is when you are cheated and it is not resolved. Yes, Roy Jones got screwed out of his championship. But at the same point, Park Si-hoon knew he should not have won that. So during the celebration, he held up Roy Jones Jr.'s hand in celebration because Roy should have won that. And then 9 years later, during the appeal process, yes, 2 of those judges were banned for life because the Olympic Committee knew what they did was wrong and got them out so they could never do that again. And also, Roy Jones Jr., well, yes, never got the gold medal. He was awarded an Olympic order in recognition for he should have won it. And they realized, hey, we wronged you. They weren't going to take away the medal, but they at least said, you are right. We are wrong. Let's fix this as best as we can. Whereas my game, the United States didn't even accept the silver medals. There are still silver medals in lockup in Munich because they did not accept it. And when they appealed, through all the appeals that it went through, everyone was like, no, I'm sorry, it happened. You were cheated, but we're not going to fix it. At least yours was fixed. Mine wasn't.
Nothing replaces actually standing up on that stand, having the gold medal handed to you. I don't care how many times it gets replaced. I don't care how many times they say you're sorry. I wasn't up there for myself for what I did after clearly being cheated, after my opponent told me I was cheated. I'm still not up there. You know what goes hand in hand with the biggest comeback in history? Should we even been in that start in the first place? Should we have even had to have a comeback? What did I do earlier to not put in that place? How did I let old dude score the 3rd time down? Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe I should have done that. There are so many questions that go in the back of your head when you mess up or somebody else messes up. When you do, when it comes to Roy Jones Jr., he did nothing to doubt himself. And he was not able to stand on that Olympic stage on that first place. Doesn't matter. If I get screwed over for something where I know it was nobody else but me, I'm pissed. I don't care how many times I get somebody says sorry to me. It is the worst call because he had nobody else around him and nothing to second guess what actually happened.
So again, you want to bring up, hey, what should we have done to keep ourselves out of this position in the first place? Plain and simple, Roy Jones Jr. should have knocked out Park Si-hoon. He had so many opportunities and didn't. The reason he lost it was because of the scoring. Because, well, yes, you brought up that he outpunched him more than double. They don't count punches in the points.
All right. This is a very interesting one that I conjured up here for this question, and the players really utilized it. So let's go into our closings. So let's go into Papa West right here for the closing of your argument. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
Again, back then, they didn't just look at punches thrown and landed. They looked at technique. They looked at everything. And Roy was playing with him in the second and third round. He had one hand up, the other hand down. He's like, hey, I'm going to beat you with one hand. A lot of people didn't like that. So it's one of those, well, yes, he was cheated. He could have knocked Park Si-hoon out a lot sooner. And again, they fixed it by putting total punches thrown and landed in judging afterwards. So while, yes, yours was a bad call, they fixed it. Mine, they didn't. And I don't want to hear, well, America should have done better in the entire game. When it comes down to the game, I mean, you can't really replay it. They had a fantastic game. The USSR had a fantastic game. And unfortunately, the United States were in the process of one of the greatest comebacks ever, and it was stolen from them. There really wasn't a lot they could have done to fix that. Whereas Roy Jones Jr. could have quit playing with the kid and knocked him the fuck out.
Time. Okay. Very good closing by Jacob right here. Let's go to Amaru for his closing. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
So Roy Jones Jr. showboating give them even more reason to say that he actually won the match. The bot call was so bad. As you said, they changed the rules for boxing for the entire world. The Olympics rules were changed because of that match. Roy Jones Jr. should have knocked him out. We forgot about the 2 standing 8 counts that he already had that the ref had to go in. If you have 3 standing 8 counts in a round, you're done. If you have 4 standing 8 counts in a match, you're done. He did what he needed to do to beat up on this man, showboated, and continued to beat up on this man. And they looked him in the face and cheated him out of the highest achievement an individual can ever achieve. He got cheated. They told him he got cheated. They then still did not give it to him. They later apologized, changed all the rules, and still no gold medal is in his hand.
Time. All right. Fellow judges in the bottom of our screen right here, write down based on the arguments themselves and write down the person who gets a point. Thumbs up if you're ready. And all right. This is a very interesting argument and a little message for everyone else who are listening to this. Don't cheat right here. Just want to make a warning for everyone else. Don't cheat on anything. Just want to make a warning for everyone else. If you're watching this. All right. Let's see. Our judges are ready to go. Okay. Thumbs up by Kevin. So thinking with you. Okay. Thumbs up by Kevin Marin right here. Azusaurus conundrum how okay, you put a thumbs up a little cautiously. With that, let's go to Asher first right here for what he based on the arguments themselves, who deserves the point.
Again, really tough, guys. You guys are bringing your A game. I mentioned this in the break, but yeah, I would have gone with like the Saints pass interference, no call, or the Hail Mary, or the perfect game, Galarraga's perfect game, any one of those. But Olympics is the biggest stage of them all. So these are very good arguments from you both. Papa West brought the heat with one of the greatest comebacks in organized basketball history. I did a little bit of research on this. It was a 10-point comeback with about 6 minutes left. So that's pretty good. I know he didn't mention that, but just to justify the comeback, it was a comeback. And the fact that he brought up that it wasn't just screwed up once, but it was screwed up twice on 2 separate inbounds plays was also pretty important. And then you have Rue coming in here with an 86 punch to 32 punch with 2 standing 8 counts, just how he straight up dominated his competition, Roy Jones Jr., only to get taken out by the fact that it's a home call. I think that's really great. I think it really comes down to the counters. honestly, for me, because I think although Rue really did a great job distinguishing his counters, I didn't really hear an argument besides the fact that, like, yeah, there were players on the court that could have maybe made different plays to help benefit the U.S. winning the game. And although I think it's a fair argument, I don't really see how that necessarily, like, calms a botched call. So because of that, and because Papa West did say that, you know, the Olympic Committee acknowledged it, the Park Si-hun acknowledged it, all of these acknowledgments going to Roy Jones Jr. after the fact, immediately after the fact, I'm going to give it to Papa West on this one. Here. There.
Okay. All right. We got one Jacob right here. Let's go to Kevin Poss right here on who gets the point and why.
Yeah, I like how you both went up to the Olympics. One an individual sport, one a team sport. Both obviously very good arguments. I can't say much more than Asher did. In that, Amaru, you brought up, you know, the home cooking. That's definitely obvious, and the band judges and such. But I agree with Asher in that Jacob's rebuttals, saying that Roy Jones Jr. was awarded the Olympic Medal of Recognition. I like how he brought up the U.S. in the basketball game. They still haven't accepted the silver medals. It was very slight. I had to just pick minor points here because you guys had it so close. But just by a hair, my point goes to Jacob.
Okay, with that, Jacob scores round number 3. Kevin Maria, your point wouldn't have mattered. Which point would you have gone to?
Actually, my point was going to go to Amaru because I brought into more of the fact that, like, they acknowledged him months ago, and especially he was awarded the, like, Olympics, something else, but that one actually will let me to give him the point.
All right, we got 2-1. Jacob takes the lead, and let's go into round number 4. And this is a very interesting one. If Papa West gets this point round number 4, he will be our champion. Amaru, you need to get this right to tie the game to go into round number 5 right here. So game time right here. Let's go into Amaru's strength, which is the NBA. Let's go to the NBA, and the question is this: what is the biggest NBA playoff upset of all time? So this is Amaru's strength. Let's go with him with his selection.
The biggest NBA playoff upset of all time is the first time an 8 seed ever beat a 1 seed in NBA history. We've all seen the image of Dikembe Mutombo hugging the ball, and it's such a moment for a reason. In 1994 Western Conference first round, when the Nuggets beat Seattle Supersonics, they had to beat a team that came in 63-19 with one of the greatest defenders ever in Gary Payton, with one of the most athletic players ever in Sean Kemp, one of the greatest third options ever in Kendall Gill. The Nuggets had Dikembe, and they were 42-40. Yes, they beat them in 5, but what makes this the biggest upset ever is that they had to upset the Sonics 3 different ways. Not only were they the first 8 seed to beat a 1 seed, but they also had to come back down from 0-2, which has only happened 4 times ever before that game in a 5-game series, and only 6.5% of all NBA teams in a playoff ever come back from being down 0-2. Then, on top of that, they had to go back to Seattle and beat the Sonics in a game 5 in overtime. We've had 8 seeds beat one seed, but we've never had a team do it in so many different ways with so much against them than when the Denver Nuggets beat the Seattle Supersonics in the 94 Western Conference first round. I'll concede the rest of my time.
Okay. Very interesting choice by Amar right here. Let's go to Papa West for his selection.
I'm going to go and use my extra minute, please.
All right. Papa West is using his minute extension. All right. Make sure you set it up, Kevin.
All right, it's all set.
All right, Papa West. You explain your choice with the extension.
So the Dallas Mavericks ended the 2006 season losing to the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals in 6 games. Instead of doing what most teams do and have a huge fallout and do horrible the next season, like most teams in any sport do after losing a championship, they went on and had the best record in basketball, along with the MVP of the season, Dirk Nowitzki. This team went 67-15 in the regular season, and led by Dirk Nowitzki. Also had Josh Howard, Jason Terry, Jerry Stackhouse, Dasagana Diop, Devin Harris, a very good team. Went in number 1 in the Western Conference. Most people thought they were going to win it all. No one thought they were going to lose the first round. And in the first time ever that an 8 seed beat a 1 seed in a best-of-7 series, the Warriors demolished them. They had the same exact record as the Denver Nuggets. They were 42-40. And literally the very first game beat the Mavericks 97-85. They beat them by 12 points when everyone thought the Mavericks were going to wipe the floor. They then would go on through the entire series, would outscore Dallas 105-98. Literally wiped the floor with the Mavericks. They were able to beat them in 6. And the only 2 wins Dallas could muster up to get were for a total of 19 points together, which still didn't outscore Golden State's biggest win. They could only win while in Dallas. They could not win on the road. And then it all boils down to Game 6. Golden State demolished Dallas again, this time by 25 points. So the 25 to the 19 is what I was alluding to there. Golden State thrashed Dallas 111-86, which would be what you would think of a 1-8 seed, except in reverse order. We've never seen an 8 seed demolish a 1 seed like we watched Golden State do in 2007. Time.
Ryan. All right, right on the buzzer. 2 very interesting choices right here. Basically, 8 seed versus the 1 seed. Very interesting matchup. So the 5-minute debate will begin with when you begin talking.
Amaru, quick question for you. What is the hardest stadium to play at for away teams?
Exactly. This was an upset everywhere except the one place who knew better, and that is Oracle Arena. You take the black hole of Oakland Raiders and you put them in a dome and closed space, and you are going nowhere. I live there, I experienced, and it is deafening. But let's go past the opinions of the hardest place to go. Let's look at why everybody in Oakland knew that the Mavs had no chance. Why would a Mavericks team demolish a team they hadn't beat in the last 5 times? And you said that they didn't have the huge fallout that most teams have after losing something like that. They did. They lost to the 8th seed in the following playoffs. The exact same fallout. Everybody thought that the Warriors were going to lose this, except everybody who counted, because when you actually look at it, Golden State had everything going for them.
So when most teams have a fallout, like I was alluding to, it's in the offseason of the regular season. We've never seen a team fall apart in the postseason like we did there. And that's funny. You say Oracle Arena is the toughest place to play. I agree with you now, since Steph Curry, Klay Thompson Draymond Green, since they have been amazing, yes, Oracle Arena is impossible to win at unless you're Golden State. But this is funny because I distinctly remember you in an argument saying that the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado is actually the toughest stadium to play at, which, fun fact, when the Denver Nuggets beat the Supersonics, their first 2 wins came in Denver, the toughest place to play. So really not a surprising comeback. They just won when they needed to, and in the last game, rode their momentum. Yes, it was an exciting last 3 games of the season. Seattle outscored them 95-94 in the entire season. Denver just got hot at the right time. Golden State destroyed the Mavericks. Again, something you would see in a 1-8 seed, with the number 1 seed being the team destroying them. We've never seen the 8 seed destroy the number 1 seed like we did with Golden State. We'll probably never see it again either.
Okay, so I chose the Denver Nuggets because I had second choice, and I know nobody outside of Oakland knows that Oracle Arena is a more hostile environment than the Celtics Arena, which my opponent chose. But let's look at it this way. Again, the Denver Nuggets did not have anything going for them up against that Seattle Supersonics team except Dikembe Mutombo. Here's everything that the Golden State Warriors had going for them outside of that arena. We already mentioned that the Mavericks already proved that they suck at most important moments because they did it in the finals. Then we also have the fact that, as I said, the Golden State Warriors swept the season against the Mavericks that year and had won the last 5. Then in addition to that, they're the 8th seed because of the first half of the season. They picked up their second and third leading scorers in a midseason trade with Steven Jackson and Al Harrington. And going into the playoffs, the Golden State Warriors had won 11 of the last 15, 9 of the last 10. They had the momentum. And on top of that, Don Nelson was their coach. 2 years removed from coaching 6 out of the 7 top scoring players on that Dallas Mavericks team. Not only do you have the arena, not only do you have a team that knows how to beat the Mavericks going into the best momentum ever, you have a coach that knows his opponent. 7 of his 8 greatest opponents. Golden State had everything going for them. Everybody inside of Oakland knew, y'all ain't got this. That's why we believe.
But again, when it comes to the biggest upsets, whenever it comes to the playoffs, teams turn on a second gear. What happened in the regular season doesn't necessarily deter what's going to happen in the playoffs, except we know the number 1 teams tend to dominate. This is the first time we have ever seen a number 1 seed get outscored 12 points their first game, 18 the third, 14 the fourth game, and then 25 in the last game. Literally, this was a normal 1-8 seed in reverse. With your game, it was all the excitement in the end. Seattle destroyed him the first 2 games. Denver came back.
All right. Let's go into our closings. Let's go with Papa West for his closing right here. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
Yeah, Denver had everything going for them. They got to close out the series, or in the middle of the series, the most pivotal games, Game 3 and Game 4, at the toughest arena to play, not because of hostility, just because it's a mile in the air. It's tougher to breathe. Olympic athletes go to Denver to work out because an hour run in Denver is the equivalent of a 3-hour run just about anywhere else. They had 2 straight games in the toughest arena to play. Your own words, Amaru. And then they took all their momentum into the last game and ended up winning a very exciting 98-94. If this was the most surprising, one of the funnest series to watch, you would have it. But the question is, what is the biggest upset? Now, yes, everything was going Golden State's way, and they took it and ran with it and demolished Dallas, something we have never seen, probably never see again.
Time. Right. Okay. Very good closing by Jacob. Let's go to Amaru right here for his 60-second closing.
One, I lost that round with the altitude versus hostility thing, so we're not going to do that. Second, the Mavericks did not turn on the second gear in the playoffs 2 playoff series in a row. They proved it the year before, and they did the same thing right after. Third, we definitely saw the Mavericks get outscored like that before because they got outscored by the Golden State Warriors the previous 5 times before that series. This is not an upset anywhere inside. Anybody who knows better sees it. With Denver, they had nothing but no. They had to be 8 versus 1. They were down 0-2 and had to come back. They had to go back to Seattle. They had to beat Seattle against the best defending point guard ever, with Sean Kemp jumping out the gym, Kendall Gill scoring with less than 1 second left to go into overtime, and beat them at home in overtime. Denver had nothing going for them. Golden State had everything, and that's why they ran with it.
Time. All right. Very good closing. Very good closing by both of you. And this one might be one of my favorite arguments we've had so far. So let's go into in our judges in the bottom of our screen. Get a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, thumbs up for Asher. All right, thumbs up for Kevin. And let's just say for Kevin Marin right here too. Zoom. All right. Everybody's ready for a thumbs up. Let's go into Kevin Poss right here and start with him with thoughts on the arguments and thoughts who have a better argument and who gets the point.
All right. From what I heard, real similar in these series. The records from the eight seeds and the 1 seeds. One had a 5-game series, one had a 7-game series. It came down to me in the 5-minute round. You guys spent the whole time almost talking about Jacob's choice, and that gave me very little to score for Amaru. So, and I really like how Jacob went back and pulled something that Amaru had said in a previous match. I know you tried to dispute that and everything, but bringing that up is pretty big. So my point goes to Jacob.
All right, 1-0 Jacob. I'm gonna get it to Asher, and might be a pretty crucial one. Up to Asher right here. If Jacob is this point, who will be our new champion? Will it get to Amaru? Maybe we'll get the Kevin Marin right here. Will be the deciding factor. So.
Wow.
Let's get the Asher right here.
No pressure. Wow. Okay. So 2 8v1s, good choices by both. I think we're all going to say, man, Papa West coming with the brutal, using Rue's words against him from a previous match, a match that I actually judged. And I ended up giving that point to his competitor, Nikki, who said Boston. Because although Mile High is very good with home field advantage, there are other actually better home field advantages out there. So I think Rue actually countered his own points from his previous match by saying that he didn't get a first choice, and the fact that, actually Golden State had Oracle Arena back then. That year was pretty loud, and that home field advantage was pretty big too. I honestly think, as Kevin Poss said, there was a lot of dialogue being talked about Papa West's match, but the stuff that Rue brought up, I'm going to say, that wasn't countered by Papa West was pretty important. The fact that they were the Golden State Warriors that year were counted out for the first half of the season and then went on the insane run at the second half of the season. the fact that the 2 in-season trades for Steven Jackson and Al Harrington really provided them with that momentum. The fact that they had that momentum going into the playoffs, you kind of expected a little bit of upset at City, 11 of 18 and 9 of 10. But I think the biggest thing for me is the fact that they had Don Nelson as their coach. And the fact that Rue said that this guy coached the Mavs previously, so they knew their opponents and literally knew how to beat them. This upstart Warriors team is going to give me, and the fact that I'm going to give Rue the point because he also, brought up great arguments with the fact that, the Nuggets had to come back 2-0 on the brink of elimination, won an overtime game in the 5th game, had to face Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, and Kendall Gill with just Dikembe Mutombo. So because of all of that, and because, West didn't really counter those arguments brought up by Rue, I'm giving Rue the point.
Right. 1-1 tie. Okay, Kevin Marino. It's up to you right here. You're basically okay. You just throw his papers away.
Yeah, I just ran the papers away. I'm like, crap. Okay. Now I get the hard decision. Hey. I'm actually gonna side with my clone on this one. I didn't hear that much stuff from Amaru, so I'm gonna have to go with Papa West. This was tough one. What to do?
All right.
Sure.
That I see it. All right. That and your winner and new Sports Brawl champion, Jacob Papa West. Congratulations, Jacob. You did it. And you put off a very good fight, Amaru. I'm just going to say that right now. You put really great fight. Do not let the score bring you down. That's a competitor right here. You did really a great job along with that. And I just want to say you did great. And before I'm going to go into Papa West, our new Sports Brawl champion, I'm going to go to talk to Amaru right here and make sure hi. Just want to say congratulations. You put up a great fight. You put up some hell of an argument along with that. You came very close though, making a comeback right here. Very, very close. And just want to say, how you doing? How you feeling?
I don't know right now. I feel all right. I'll say that. I feel all right. I felt coming out of that 4th round, we were going to a 5th. Like, I didn't think in any way, shape, or form we were not going to a 5th. But it happened, and we didn't go to a 5th. So, because he got me on those 2 middle ones, and I put myself in that situation. So there we go with that. Other than that, I feel good because I feel like I went toe to toe with Papa West. I feel like I scared the crap out of him, and I know I can beat the man. But he got me this time. So there it goes. But I am going away with it that I know I can beat him. So I'm ready to come back. I'm ready to take the championship because, yeah, I have the knowledge that I can either beat him or get him to a final one and have it be decided on the final match. So
yeah, and yeah, I just want to say to you, Amaru, you put up a great effort and a great match along with it, and basically, I would just want to say we ain't see the last thing at Sports Brawl right here. You will be back along with it and compete with. Sorry, just something in my mouth. I'm sorry. And I just want to say you put up a very excellent match right here. We ain't see the last of you on Sports Brawl with you. I think you will come back to get your revenge on Papa West anytime. And I just want to say I can't wait for that when you have that revenge someday. All right. Sorry, I was just kind of waiting for a response.
Cool. I didn't know if I needed a response or not, but thank you very much. This was an amazing time, an amazing run to the championship. I'm very happy I got to battle Jacob. I was looking forward to it, so I'm happy about that.
All right. let's go into our new Sports Brawl champion, Papa West. Congratulations. Finally get the Sports Brawl belt. And basically, how you feeling, champ?
It feels really good to be the champ. I've been working for like 6 months for this, and I was really scared there for a second. Amaru, you are great, but I was having flashbacks to my last match against the false god Sean. First question was a great question. I just had some notes that I had written down that I didn't verbally say, and it cost me the first question. Next 2 questions, I came back and won it. And then the last 2 questions, I did not finish. And I was having those flashbacks. Looking at my notes, I thought I was going to win every single point. Or I had an argument for every single point except for the last question. So I came into this knowing I have to win in 4. And I was really scared there for a second because that last question, all the questions could have gone either way. I'm just really happy to go to the 5th question. And Amaru, whenever you take me on again, yes, you can beat me. But I can beat you too.
Nice.
Yes, you did. So that has been proven.
All right. Nice talk from Papa West himself. Let's go to our judges in the bottom of the screen. I'm going to start with Kevin Poss right here. What do you think of this match and our new champion, Jacob?
First off, congrats to Papa West on the championship win. Amaru, don't let that score even come close to affecting your mindset, because I love hearing you debate, man. The way you use statistics and throw out statistics and use them to formulate an argument on the fly is like just, it's a work of art. So yes, definitely keep your head up and go after that title as quickly as possible.
All right, let's go to Kevin's corner right here, Kevin Marino right here, in the bottom right here. Same thoughts I asked him. What do you think?
This was difficult. This was a difficult match to judge for myself. Congratulations to Papa West. Amaru, this is the second time I'm still debating on my answer choices of yours. You are great at this. Don't let the points set you out. You did an amazing job. Hopefully next time you got the win. But wow, this was intense.
Yeah. I'm going to hang out with Asher right here. What do you think the match itself, and what do you think our new champion, Papa West?
Well, there's a reason that Rue's a teacher. He's able to explain things very, very well in a very short amount of time. He's able to refute points pretty quickly. So props to Rue. I mean, there's no shame in losing 3-1, as I'm well aware of. But I do feel like you played really hard, and a lot of those, judge outcomes were 2-1. So just if one judge swung the other way, it would be a lot more contentious. I mean, Papa West did bring it. I am going to commend him for using his competitor's previous arguments in his new argument. I think that's a very cool tactic.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
Before you gave your answer, I'm like, if he does Seattle-Denver, I am using that against him.
And I am going to commend Rue for squashing his previous argument in his argument this time. I think he did a very good job in that. But all in all, I think Rue is a really good competitor. I know he's going to come back into this. And I know that Papa West is a great competitor, as he's the champ. And I know these two are going to compete. I know I'm going to compete selfishly. Got to throw my name in there as well. But I know Yeah, I know everybody who's up on this screen is very good, and I know Rue is fantastic, and I know Papa West is fantastic because he's the champ and he just proved it.
All right. I just want to say all of you put up a fantastic job. All of you, to our players, to our judges, and just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you for everyone else who competed in Sports Brawl and my rookie tournament all the way to the championship match. Just to our competitors right here. And this is sort of a sign off to me, Jonathan, the Master Pack, the head sports admin. Just want to, for me, to Amaru, to Papa Was, to Kevin Paz, to Kevin Marino, to Asher Gold. Just want to say, take care. Be safe, everybody. Good night.